All right, high school and summer league swimmers, don't be fooled by what you see from some of those awesome swimmers. They're doing something very specific. If you develop the right skills, then you can be awesome too. Let's hit the board. Now, this is one of the things that really applies to summer league and high school athletes. So we got summer league and we got high school athletes that actually watch other athletes, more advanced athletes, some year-round, maybe they see some college swimmers, and they actually watch them and they get a little bit confused as to what they're seeing, but they need to understand something as far as a race strategy that is very, very important. All right, and they will see, we're going back to dude. Dude's going to be orange this time. There we go. Holding on, he's about to start. Let's draw a side of the pool over here. And we've got people who are standing here and who are watching. All right, and let's call these swimmers that are on the side of the pool right here, let's call them less advanced than dude. Okay, dude is a better swimmer. All right, so they watch dude dive in and he is going forward underwater, and he actually has a very strong underwater ability, which means he's able to hold a tight streamline and he's got a very strong kick, so he is able to stay under the water for an extended period of time, and then he rips up onto the water. Now these guys, maybe younger swimmers or less experienced swimmers, they see that and they're like, oh, dude is awesome. And dude may be awesome, but he is able to hold on to this speed. He's able to stay underwater and hold on to his speed. So when he comes up way down the pool. Maybe he's ahead of the other swimmers. They're jumping and cheering. They think that it's awesome, right? That he is able to stay underwater that long. Now, here's the misconception that a lot of these guys might have as they're watching. They may think, dude stayed underwater for that long and dude is awesome. Therefore, if I stay underwater for that long, I will be awesome as well. But here's what you got to keep in mind. The important thing about what dude did in the water is not that he stayed underwater for so long. It was that while underwater, he was able to hold on to this starting speed. Let's call this 100% right here. He was able to hold on to this speed while he was underwater, and he was able to rip that speed onto the surface. Now, these guys may not have a full comprehension as to what exactly was going on. So they're thinking, if I stay underwater, I'm awesome as well. All right, now, here's what you have to keep in mind while you are doing this underwater portion of the race, is that you need to be able to hold on to this 100%. If you have a strong enough underwater that you're able to hold on to this 100% and rip it on down here, then that's great. That is successful. That works for you. But the important part of this is to make sure that you don't slow down. Between here and here. Ideally, you want these two speeds right in this area and right here to be equal. That's what you really want, is for that to be equal, for this speed to equal this speed. And if you can do that, then that's awesome. But the important thing is that if you start to slow down, which most of these guys, if they try to do what dude is doing underwater, they don't have the skills, they don't have the ability, they don't have the training or the know-how. If they try to do this, they will start to slow down drastically. They will hit 90, 80, 70, 60, and they're breaking onto the surface right here with a lot less speed. They're only going about half the amount of speed because they're trying to do what he's doing. He has the ability to do this. They don't. So if this 100% starts to slow down to 90% or so, you should actually be swimming on the surface. You will be faster. You will have a faster race if you take it to the surface earlier rather than hanging on underwater and letting your speed just absolutely die by the time. Because what did the other swimmers do? Let's say there's other swimmers in the water. They came in at 100%. When they ripped onto the surface a little bit earlier with their 100%, And now they're actually maintaining or increasing speed on the surface, and you're hanging on underneath the surface trying to be awesome by staying underwater longer. But really what's happened is you've lost all of your speed. The other swimmers who came up earlier are way up here, and you're just struggling to get to the surface back here, and they have left you. So the ideal situation as far as your underwaters is that if you start to slow down underwater, you should be swimming. And this is something that you have to determine as an athlete, because it won't be exactly the same for every single swimmer. But if you start to slow down, you should actually be swimming. Even if someone is able to stay under a little bit longer than you, maybe they have the ability, maybe they don't, and they're actually hurting themselves. So hope that made sense, and best of luck to all of you, and try to work this out. But if you are one of these guys, understand what you're seeing by dude. Okay? Don't be confused by what you're seeing by this awesome swimmer who has a tremendous underwater. If you want to work towards that, that's great, but don't just assume that you already have that skill and stay underwater to the point to where you're actually killing all your speed, because all of the other swimmers who came up earlier still have this speed, have left you in the pool. All right, so keep that in mind. I hope this helps you out, and best of luck. All right, this is one of those skills that you really got to practice and work on to see what is right for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.